Hello and welcome to today's video. This is a really fun, really exciting one. It is my July and August wrap up. These are the books that I read during July and August. Now, as you may or may not know if you've caught my last couple of videos, I am planning on taking the entirety of September off, which I've done quite well so far. As I'm recording this, it's currently the 12th of September and things are going really, really good. Like, I feel creative already. However, I meant to film this video within the first few days of September and honestly, I really needed that time. So this is the first day where I've kind of felt like prepared to come and sit in front of the camera and talk through the books. And I'm also planning on rearranging my bookshelves later today. So I wanted to film this before everything's a mess and I had even more excuses not to. So yeah, that is the very basics. We are just going to be talking about the books now. I keep trying to find fun ways to reinvent these wrap-up videos, and I do think I have quite a good plan for next year. But for this video, because it is July and August that we are talking about, I've decided to put all the books on a piece of paper and I've scrunched them up and I've put them in a jar. And basically my plan is to pick one out. I was hoping they were going to come out through the mouth, but it's a bit tight. But I'll pull one out and then I will talk about that book, anything I can remember, anything important. As always, I will try my very best to keep these videos spoiler free. I normally prepare a little bit for these videos, and to be quite honest, I haven't. If a book is unmemorable, you are going to just hear, this is what I rated it, and it's unmemorable. I don't remember anything about it. So I will, of course, do my best to keep this spoiler free, but there is a small chance that I might say something that isn't technically on the back of the book. I'm not going to go into any detail or anything. I'm not going to spoil any plot points or major twists or character arcs or anything like that. I'm just aware, you know, if on the back of the book it doesn't say something that happened in the first 2 or 3 chapters, I might in my head have that as something safe to say. So I do just want to put that warning, because I know like people have different spoiler like variation of what they're willing to be okay with. It should be cool. It should be relatively spoiler free. I won't be saying anything that is going to spoil the book for anyone. So in July I read 14 books, which was a total of 5,147 pages. And then in August I also read 14 books, but it was actually almost 1,000 pages less, with 4,175 pages read. So a total between July and August is 28 books read, which is really good, to be honest. Like, I'm really happy with that number. And a total of 9,322 pages. So sounds good all around. Now, I'm going to be pulling these out of the jar. I'm not going to be able to remember what books are from July and what books are from August. So, July books I've wrote in a blue pen, and August books I've wrote in a pink pen. So, if you are curious as to like when I read them, how long ago I read them, July is blue, August is pink. Oh, and I also, when I started this, I only had 30 minutes left on the camera to record, so fingers crossed we'll get this all done within that time, because if not, I'll probably just give up. I'm not going to lie. So, first book is here. This is our first book, and this is The Song of the Marked. 4 stars. 4 stars I gave this one. It was so good. So this was actually a reread for me. It was one of the few rereads that I've done this year, but I really want to continue on with this series, and I honestly just needed a refresh on book 1. I didn't see a way of me continuing on with the series without having reread book 1, and I'm really glad that I did. There were definitely things that I'd forgot about. Overall, I think I actually probably could have looked up a summary online and still got on with the series. There was less that I'd forgot than I realised. But I had so much fun with this. I'm really glad that I reread it. And I reread it via audio this time, which was a really good audiobook. I really enjoyed it. We are essentially following a bit of like a bandit group, and they are kind of contracted out by different people to do things, and their current contract is to figure out what's going on in this certain part of the land. And that is where our story picks up, and we already see like magical elements pretty much straight away. There's also an illness that's sweeping throughout the book, and it really is just a lot of like found friendship, found family, and then romance as well, and it was very good. I very much enjoyed it. Okay, book number 2. I also have already got the Halloween stuff out, so that is why I want to rearrange the bookshelves so I can get the Halloween stuff up. Book number 2, what have we got here? This is divisible by itself and one. Another 4-star. This is a poetry collection that I read both with my eyeballs and with my ears. So the library that is for my area had the audiobook for this poetry collection. And I really like that because I do enjoy poetry, but I often find that I don't know exactly how to read it, like what cadence to use, what like lines, like they're not connected, it's on the next line, but should I take a breath, should I carry on, stuff like that. I do struggle with still with poetry. Like, I'm in no means a poetry expert, I just like what I like and I don't like what I don't like, and I don't have the technical terms to tell you what, but I have read quite a few books by this author before, well, quite a few poetry collections by this poet before, and I really enjoyed them, and this was no exception. I thought it was really good. It did only get 4 stars, to be honest, just because there was quite a variation in poems, and there were, a handful that were just fine. So, yeah, 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having the audiobook. For me, I think poetry does need to be like visual and audio process, but I do think the audiobook was so good and it was narrated by the author themselves. So yeah, really, really great one. And it taught a lot about personhood and identity, and I thought the messages in it were really, really great. Okay, what is the next book going to be? Is that one coming out its mouth? Yeah, let's grab that one. Oh, it's come open. Oh, Aurora Rising. I really enjoyed this. This is the first book in a new series by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I read the Illuminae files by them and absolutely loved it. So when I found out they had another series, I'd already got a couple of books and I picked it up pretty quick. And I think it was good. There's not as much mixed media in this one as there is the Illuminae files, which I think is their more popular series. And it is all like written they are much longer. I've really been enjoying the audiobooks for them because there is almost no mixed media. The audiobooks work really well, and the parts in this where there are mixed media, it is more like a narrator style voice, and in the books it does look different to just like normal text on the page. However, in the audiobooks, there's so many different narrators. There is a separate narrator in the audiobooks just for that kind of like narration style part of it. I don't think you know who the narrator is at the start, so I'm trying to be vague. And it just works really well. It works really, really well. I'm really enjoying this. I thought it was really fun, really interesting. I liked the characters in this. They're all quite unique. They're all quite different. So they're very fun to follow and we get all of their perspectives. And I also like seeing their growth and also their relationships. Some of them know each other and are quite close at the start of the book, and others of them really don't know each other at all. And we really see them learn how to become a team because they have to. The very basics of this one is we are the day before kind of like tier ranking to be able to choose your team for your space missions. And it's like a first come first serve basis, and the main character we're following decides to go out on like one final drive around space before they've got a team. And whilst out, there's like I don't know what you'd call it, like a mayday signal, I guess. And they decide to respond to it and go and investigate. In the process of that, a big thing comes to light, but also it makes them late to their kind of like official closing ceremony thing. So they are left with the unwanted. The people who are not wanted on any other team is who they are left with for their team. So it really is like a bit of like a ragtag gang kind of thing. And yeah, very, very enjoyable. I do need to hurry this up because we've only done 3 and I'm 8 minutes into this. So let's keep going. Right, this one is The Prison Healer. I gave this 4.5 stars. It was amazing. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this as much as I did, honestly, but I picked it up and I just got into it straight away. Like, there really was no problem. There was no worry about the writing style. And the reason I say this is because it is a YA, but I feel like reading a book like The Prison Healer is what gives me the hope and the confidence that it is still worth picking up YA for me, and it is still worth giving YA a go, because this was amazing and I will 100% be continuing on with the series. In fact, about 30 pages into book 2 right now, so really, really exciting. We essentially follow a main character who is imprisoned. They are the prison healer, hence the name of the book. They, through a series of events, some trials come up, which I do think is important to know because like people love trials, and I don't think it's very well advertised that it's going to be a trial-based book. There are a few other characters that we meet along the way, characters that our main character has been friends with for ages, and new people who pop up through her prison healing duties. And it's a very, very fun one, so definitely would recommend. Okay, let's pick another. Here we go. What is this? This is, The Enchanted Greenhouse. I gave this 4.5 star. This is by Sarah Beth Durst. And this is the second book that I've read by the author, which is only the second book in her kind of like cosy fantasy books that she's got out. But I do know that she has written other things as well. And this was really fun. It was not what I was expecting, but I had a great time. We follow a main character who we really don't know much about, but from the first book by Sarah Beth Durst in like this world, The Spell Shop, we've learned of this character. We know of her. We know like what she's about, but we don't know her at all. We don't know her personality. We don't know who she is, and we follow her and her story. I would assume that the majority of it takes place like in a very similar time period to the events of The Spell Shop. I don't think that's been confirmed, but like there was definitely overlap there. I think the epilogue of The Enchanted Greenhouse took place after where we saw the spell shop get to, I believe. But I think the majority of the story took place at the same time. And it was really, really enjoyable. It was just this island with this massive enchanted greenhouse. And we learnt a lot. And the things that our main character might have seen as faults, might have seen as things that she's been punished for in the past, were actually her strengths and the things that made her so great for the island. So yeah, it was a great time. Okay, one more here. And I think I'm just going to film for the 30 minutes. If we don't get to any, then I'll figure that out after. Saga Volume 10, 4.5 stars. Honestly, this maybe is a 5-star, but I've given it 4.5. I think this was going to have to do so much to live up to Volume 9. Volume 9 ended a lot of story arcs. It ended in such a way that I was shooketh. I did not know what was happening. I needed Volume 10 straight away. Luckily, I've only started reading this series this year because it's so Volume 10 was available. But I think in like real time, if you're reading them as they came out, there was like a 3-year hiatus between 9 and 10. I did think it did really well. It picked up the story really well. It dealt with a few time jumps in like a really good way, and I really, really did enjoy it. We saw more character growth, more people. There were some of the like more side characters that I wish we'd seen a bit more of, and there were a couple of things that were, I don't know, they weren't obvious, but when they were revealed, it was like, oh, okay. So 4.5, amazing, 100% recommend, but just wasn't as good as Volume 9. But I'm not too surprised. Volume 9 was like perfection. Okay, let's pick another. Oh, A Kiss of Hammer and Flame, 3.5 stars. What I will say about this is a debut book, and I think I would have enjoyed this more and potentially even rated it higher if it had been marketed better / differently. I don't want to say better because like publishers choose how to market stuff, but this was very much marketed as a, and I hate this word, but romantasy. Like it's fantasy romance. It has been for years, but romantasy, that's what it feels like the internet has decided it's called now. And that's what it was marketed as. So going into this, there was a blacksmith. She creates a sword that is like this magical sword, has to go on the run, goes on the run with someone, goes to another place. We're figuring stuff out. Okay, that's all that was really known. There's a prophecy around the sword as well. I feel like that was known going into it. And it was a romantasy. I think if this was like advertised as a YA, so a young adult fantasy, I would have enjoyed it a lot more, because that would have been, like, I would have got out of it what I was expecting. There was no romance. Like, there was maybe a few flirty bits, but there was no real romance. There wasn't. And obviously, books further in this series, because it is just book one of a series, like, it could change, it could alter, we could go in different directions, but this book, there was no romance, and to market it as a romantasy is absolutely crazy to me. So yeah, I do think it's worth reading. I think if you're going to pick it up, go into it as a YA fantasy. The fact that our main character is a blacksmith and everything that she's been through and everything that we learn throughout, like, it was really interesting. I did really enjoy the reading experience. I just didn't get out of it what was marketed that I would. Let's pick another. What have we got here? Okay. This is The Hunting Party, which I gave 3 stars. So this is one of the books that you will see in my Summerween video, so I can link that up above. I will link it in one of the corners. I thought it was fine, basically. Like, it got 3 stars, it's middle of the road, it was fine. The main thing for me is we start this book first, I don't even know if it's a chapter, if it's a prologue or what, but we start out knowing someone is dead, someone has died. Then we go back and to the start of this weekend, to the start of this event, and we basically have like a group of people who have known each other for years and years, and they always go on holiday together for New Year. They're going to this isolated cabin. However, it's not really an isolated, like, closed door kind of thing, or closed cabin, whatever, because there's people who work there who are there the entire time, and there's also other guests there. So it didn't feel like the closed door thing that I was expecting. And then I think my other problem was, I just think we should have got different perspectives. There were some perspectives we got that once you learnt the reveals, you realised we were in someone's head that knew more or did something different to what we saw, and we didn't see that or see them think about that, and that didn't make sense to me. I think if you're narrating a story, it can be different. Like, you can definitely only narrate what you choose, but we're fully in these people's heads, we're following them, we know their thoughts, we knew their feelings. So it was fine. I'm glad I read it. I gave it a go. I'm excited to read more by the author. Like, I definitely enjoyed it, but I left it with some thoughts that maybe there were a few things that annoyed me. Oh, also the reveals were very obvious. Like, I found quite a few things obvious. So there were many reveals. They weren't all obvious, but a lot of them were. Okay, let's pick another book. This is Persepolis 2. So this is the second part of Persepolis. I do believe if you buy this new now, because I did have to get Persepolis 2 second hand, that was the only way I could find it, and it took me months to find it. But if you buy it new now, it is just called the complete Persepolis. So you get Persepolis 1 and Persepolis 2 together in one binder. But I found Persepolis probably last year, maybe even the year before, in a charity shop, so I picked it up. Didn't know how difficult it was going to be to find Persepolis 2, but I did, and I read it, and I gave it 4 stars. It is a graphic memoir. We are following Marjane, who, you know, is also like the author. And Persepolis 1 we follow from kind of like childhood to when I would guesstimate that Marjane is maybe like 16, 17 at the end of book 1, and is fleeing to France. So we are looking a lot at Iran and the different political events that have happened in the last kind of like 50 years. And then book 2 picks up from Paris, and then we kind of see into early adulthood. I think the book ends in about 2000, 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. Basically, part 2 I didn't feel was as good or as strong as part 1. I had quite a few... Here's the thing, I feel weird saying this because it's a real life story, but it was written in such a way that like you were following Marjane as like a character, and there were some things that were just weird. Like, I don't know, I really don't feel like I had the words to fully explain it. Like, I think it was so important. I'm so glad that I read it. It was such an important book, and I think it's a book that needs to be out there. Like, I learnt so much from it. And obviously, like, the big picture stuff, it's like, yeah, you are reacting in a way that is normal. Like, humans, everyone reacts normally. It was like the smaller stuff, honestly, that was just like, why are we doing this? I don't know. And like, obviously it's such a unique experience. Like, I, you know, touch wood, will never experience anything like this in my life. But yeah, I guess frustration is the word that I'm looking for. Like, I felt frustrated at parts throughout this that, I don't, like, honestly, because it's a graphic memoir, you can't, like, really, the author can't, like, pop in and be like, you know, looking back at this, so-and-so and so-and-so, which, you know, a lot of memoirs will do. But I do kind of feel like the author is probably frustrated at the decisions that, like, younger her had made as well. It's like, it's just a really interesting one. I don't know. It's 4 stars, it's great. But, like, Persepolis got 5 stars. So, like, overall, like, if I was reading them combined, I guess I get 4.5. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the words for it, so let's just move on because we don't have much time left on this camera. I'm actually going to do rapid fire now because I still have loads in the bottom of here. So let's tip them all out into my hand and let's go. rapid fire because I have 7 minutes until I have no room left on this camera. Okay, we have several people are typing 3.5 stars. Once again, this is in the, oh my gosh, what, Summerween. Is it in Summerween? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read this one for Summerween. 3.5 stars. It was fine. It was written in a really interesting way, but I wanted more. I continuously throughout it, I was like, oh, they're about to do something. They never did. Oh, like, there must be a twist coming up. There never was. I just wanted more. It felt very slice of life. That wasn't really what I expected going into it. And there wasn't really any conclusions. There was nothing to think about. I'm glad I read it. It was a fun read. It was an interesting read. Never read anything like it. It was all written through Slack messages. And it was interesting, but I wanted more from it. Okay, then we have a Sad Ghost Club 4, which I gave a 4. I really like this graphic novel series. They are all about different, I guess you'd say, mental health issues. Like, we deal with anxiety a lot throughout these. And in this one, it was no different, but it was our group that we've got to know in the first 3 books. And the 3 of them kind of coming together to try and help someone else. But the ways that they were doing that and the lack of communication, or the way they were communicating between them, was just a bit annoying. It just felt like we're on volume 4 here. We should have learnt a bit more by now with, like, you know, you 3 are friends. Let's communicate together. Let's make group decisions. Let's be, I don't know, just understanding of each other, I guess. So, bit annoying. So, -1 star for that, but 4 stars, still great, still loved it, still loved the like art style of it as well. Then we have Revolve, 3.5 stars. This is the 3rd book in, I don't know what the series is called. It's one of the, like, ice hockey, is it ice hockey? Ice skating? Well, this one definitely had both. But in this, like, you know, sports romance world, I will have popped it on the screen, whatever it's actually called. It was fun. It was fine. Basically, I thought the story was interesting. I liked our characters, but the actual story we got, what we saw, was a story that I've read many times before, and I haven't read that much romance. I especially haven't read that much sports romance, really. Like, less than 2 handfuls. Like I reckon I've read less than 10 sports romance series, and I'd seen this story multiple times before. There's a couple of different turns and twists in it, but not really. So just a bit too repetitive of, like, a very basic storyline. Then we have Archangel's Son, which I gave 4 stars in the end. And this to me is a perfect example of sometimes the book can be great and it can just be the wrong time. This was the 3rd time I tried to start this book, and I was worried because I think this is, like, book 14, something like that. I think 14. I think I've got 2 books the wrong way around on my shelves, which I just can't do. But it's around book 14 in this series, and I was like, oh, like, is this series no longer going to be working for me? What's going on here? But it did. Once I managed to get into it, it did. I just needed to wait for the right time to pick it up. It was a story I didn't know I needed, but I really liked it. I won't mention names because obviously this is such a long series, and I don't think that mentioning names, like I think even mentioning names would be a spoiler at this point. So I won't say too much, but these are 2 older characters. We're talking angels here. So angels are, like, immortal. So older is subjective, right? But they're, like, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of years old. And I didn't know I needed that story, but I really enjoyed it. It was much more mature than the rest of them. Like, they communicated well, they were level-headed with each other, there was mutual respect there straight away. And it was just sweet, which, you know, we hadn't seen for a long time in this series, so I did really enjoy it. Then we have Nasty Women, which I gave 4 stars. I do think I will read this at some point. This is a essay collection, and I read about the first 4 of these physically, and I was, like, annotating them and, like, marking them up and really thinking about them a bit more. And then I was just not finding the time to pick it up, and I found an audiobook for it. So I ended up listening to the audiobook for the rest of them, and there were around 20-ish, I think, in there. And it was still good. I just don't think I got as much out of this by only listening to the audiobook. I do wish that I would have read along physically with it and, like, kept up my annotations and my thoughts. So yeah, there was 2 or 3 essays in there that just really I didn't connect with at all, and I don't know if that was just because it was audio, because I didn't get to think about it as much. I don't know. Still 4 stars, still a lot of amazing essays, a lot of thought-provoking things, and it is one that I will reread at some point, and I imagine it will get higher than 4 stars when I read it in, like, my most, like, desired format. Right, I have 2 minutes left to record and I still have all of these, so let's just go through them. I also read Macbeth, 3 stars. Shakespeare, kind of over it. Macbeth was the last one that I've already read before, so any Shakespeare I read from this point on as an adult, I've not read as a child. I own about 4 more. I'll make the decision afterwards. It wasn't as good as I thought it would. It did make me excited to read some retellings though, because I do really like the story of Macbeth, just didn't love the writing. A Deal with the Shadow King, 3.5 stars. Fun. It was fun. It was silly. It was a good time. But I don't know. Will I read anything else like it? I don't know. Like, I had fun whilst reading it. I haven't really thought about it since. What have we got here? Heroes and Villains, 1 star. It is not often that I give a 1 star. I actually think that I might have recorded something about this because I had to return it to the library and I thought I was going to do a full on sit down and talk about everything properly. If I did record something, I will insert it here. But hi. So this is going to be inserted into a wrap-up video, but basically I need to take this library book back today, so I'm not going to have it when it comes to the wrap-up. It was 1 star. I really did not like it. I really was not a fan. This is Heroes and Villains, Poems About Legends. And it said here, Anna Sampson. I was like, okay, cool. Never read from Anna Sampson before, but think it could be good. And then illustrated by Chris Riddell, which was the main selling point to me. Like, I saw illustrated by Chris Riddell. I love Chris Riddell's illustrations, and honestly the illustrations in this were stunning. They were so good. If I was rating this on illustrations, like I would love to have a book of just the illustrations in this. I don't want this book. I do not want the words in this. This wasn't by Anna Sampson. It had a very short introduction at the start, and then I believe there was around 111 poems. I've counted through a few times. I think I've got 111 most consistently. Obviously it's from the library, so I haven't written it. I haven't made any notes or anything like that. But I did tab a little bit. And my tabs were just, because it wasn't going well to start with, I decided if I enjoy a poem, like I get to the end of it and I was like, oh, that was actually really good. I'm really glad I read that. I would put a yellow tab. If I got to the end of a poem and thought, ooh, I really, really enjoyed that, like I would like to read more by the poet, I'll put a blue tab. As you can see, really not many tabs. We ended the around 111 poem collection with 4 yellow tabs, 4 poems that I enjoyed and thought were good, and 2 poems that I was like, I enjoyed enough that I would like to read more. No. So that's 6 in total. So out of 111, that's 6 enjoyed. Not good. The illustrations were great. Don't know why Chris Riddell did this, to be honest, because the poems were lengthy, repetitive, and to be perfectly honest, the way this was like about heroes and villains, it didn't match the theme. It went in some weird routes, and a lot of things that were portrayed as heroic, I would probably see as villainous, and it didn't come across like that was the intention. Like, this was very clearly split into parts, so yeah, did not enjoy. Basically, this was a poetry collection. I didn't realise it was a collection from loads of different poets, and it was pretty shit. I didn't enjoy it. Obviously, that is very subjective of me, and maybe you could find fun in this, but it was so repetitive. The poems were quite boring. I do enjoy poetry. There's loads of poems that I like. I just didn't feel anything. Nightshade, 4 stars. Really, really good. Really interesting. It's book 1 of a duology, which is like kind of like an academic romance with a mystery subplot as well. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I thought the characters were really good. I thought the mystery was good. And I enjoyed following it. Can't wait to see where book 2 goes. It's enough. Pax, 2.5 stars. It was a kid's book. I am unhauling it. I will be, taking it back to the charity shop or whatever. It was fine. It's for kids. I don't want to comment too much on it, but I really didn't like the messaging. Like, I would never gift this book to a child in my life. Like, there was a lot of, I think, pro running away messaging in this. Like, the child literally goes off by themselves for 10 days to find a fox. And there was just a lot of messaging in it that I didn't like. I don't know if I'm thinking too much into it as an adult and as a very animal lover, animal conscious adult in this, but didn't love it. Okay, then we have Acclaim of Fortune, 4.5 stars. This is the 3rd book in, I think it's called the Shifterverse series, something like that. I'll put the actual name on screen. It was fine. I really enjoyed it. I was going to say it was more than fine. I really, really enjoyed it. I was not sure how we were going to do this after the ending of book 2, but it really did it. And I ended up liking characters and changing my opinions on characters and really having a difference of opinion. I can't really say much about this, but essentially we are following a pack of shifters who want to protect our main character. We get lots of perspectives. I can't remember what you know from book 1, so I'm just going to leave it as that. Okay, the time on the camera is now past the time that it told me I had to record, so let's see how long we can keep going. Human Rights, 5 stars! The third and final book in the HMRC series by Juno Dawson. It was perfection. It was honestly perfection. There was an added element added into this one at probably the 2/3 mark that I did not see coming, did not expect, didn't even know could be a possibility going into a series like this. And it really changed it, and it was really exciting, and it really did a lot for me, and I'm really, really happy that I read it. It was honestly great. Really happy with how all of our characters ended up. Really happy with what happened, all of the characters that we are following in this book. It was very satisfying. It all came together well. And yeah, really, really enjoyed it. Great time. What have we got here? Oh, Goldfinch, 2 stars, 6th book in the Plated Prisoner series. Wish I hadn't finished it. Honestly, if it wasn't the last book, probably would have DNF'd. I'm now unhauling the whole series, even though books 3 and book 4 made it favourites of the year in the years I read them. So yeah, it really shows you how much it went downhill. To be fair, I think book 4 was the lowest favourite of the year that I read that, but book 3 was amazing. Book 5 went really downhill. Didn't enjoy that when I read it, but I was like, there's only one more book left. Hopefully book 5 was a bit of a bummer because I was waiting for a massive great ending in book 6. Nope, didn't like it. Okay. I can't believe the camera's still recording. The plot, 1.5 stars. Dreadful writing. Didn't like it at all. The premise is there's this plot and the person who wrote the book with this plot dies. A person who used to teach this person and knew about this plot of the book wrote it when they found out the person had died. So basically stole the idea, I guess. That sounds like it should be interesting, but it really, really holds on to the fact that when you find out what the plot of the book they've read is, it's going to be a good plot. It's going to be interesting. Turned out it was a bit shit. Didn't think it was a good plot. Didn't think it'd be this bestseller like it was trying to make out in this book. And it kept writing and critiquing things, but then doing it in the book. And the first few times it happened, I was like, oh, maybe this is just for fun. Maybe this is, making fun of itself. I don't think it was. I think it was just bad. Then we have Cursebound, 4 stars. Loved it. 2nd book in the Feybound series. Had a really good time. Really liked it. I thought it was a good addition to book 1. We definitely learnt more. It did have slight second book kind of thing where it was just a bit slow. It was just a little bit slow, but we learnt a lot by the end of it. We had a lot of character growth, character development, and we left off in a way where I think whatever happens in book 3 is going to really be interesting. So very happy I read it. Still love all the characters, still following them. Oh my god, there's still 4. We've got 4 left. I'm on 34 minutes. It told me I only had 30 minutes of recording time. Let's see. Archangel's Light, 4.5 stars. Was absolutely great. Was a story that we've been waiting for a long time. Expected it to be 5 stars, to be honest. It was a 5-star prediction. However, it was... This is potentially mild spoilers. I'm not going to say names. But it was the first book the author had done, I believe, in any of her series, where it was a couple that were not straight, basically. And it just kind of felt like she wasn't really sure if she could do kind of everything. The books that she writes are very much plot focused, character focused, and then there is this relationship, and there are a few smutty scenes that normally show the relationship developing and how it develops. And there was none of that in this book, and it kind of felt like she was unsure how to do it. So we do get more books from the same couple in the future, I'm aware, so hopefully she's figured it out by then, because it did just kind of feel like it was missing something with the whole structure of her books, and this is book 15 of the series at this point, so for it to be missing kind of that structural element was a bit surprising. Oh, The Ending Fire, gave 4 stars. Overall, I enjoyed this. I was satisfied by the ending. This is the final book in the Ending Fire series, the first book being Final Strife, second book The Battle Drum. Overall, I was satisfied. Overall, I'm happy with the conclusion. There were just bits of this basically that felt a bit like they were going round each other, like characters were just missing each other. And I felt honestly by the end of it, like we just didn't get that much character growth. There was also some aspects to characters that had been quite a big part of their personalities. And it felt like in this one, to get the plot to go where the plot needed to go and to get the book to go where it needed to go to end, like those things that they'd struggled with just weren't really at the forefront anymore. But it was quite a sudden change from book 2 to book 3. But still really enjoyed it. I would still recommend the series. Overall, just wasn't my favourite. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, 4 stars. I enjoyed this one. It was fun. I will say it wasn't what I was expecting going into it. There was a lot of twists and turns, but it really is just another found family book. This is from the same author as A Very Secret Society to Irregular Witches. I can't see them on the shelf, so hopefully I've got that title right. It's one of the very long ones. I thought it was good. I enjoyed our main character. I enjoyed like the fun of it. I think there were definitely points where it could have improved. It got 4 stars. I would have liked to have seen more with the magic. I would have liked to have honestly just had a bit longer. It was quite a short book, and I feel like if it would have been a bit longer, we could have just seen a bit more of the relationship developments with like both friendships and relationships. So that would have been nice. But I did really like the story. It was very wholesome. It was very cozy. It was great to just pick up and read and have a cozy, lovely time. So yeah, if that's something you're looking for, I definitely think it does that. Okay, final one. What is this? What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I gave 3 stars. This was one that I liked, but again, there were things in it that didn't really work for me. It was such a small book and it felt like it went on for so long. And there was just a lot of obvious stuff, to be honest. Like, nothing surprised me, nothing shocked me, and it was a horror. It is a horror. It's the first horror that I'd tried by the author, and it wasn't horrific. There was maybe a couple of bits in it that were like slightly like body horror-y. I think it might be classed as like a fungus horror. I don't know, like it just wasn't scary. It wasn't horrific. Even like the depictions, like you'd read something and it was like a description of something happening, but it was just interesting. Like, I feel like it needed to do more if it wanted to be horrific. Maybe not even like a boo scary sense, but in like a oh, makes me feel uncomfortable sense. Didn't do any of that. So 3 stars. That is everything. That is all the books. I honestly cannot believe that I managed to get through all of those somehow. It is on 39 minutes and the camera is still recording, so I'm going to say goodbye. The only other video that you'll be getting in September is my October TBR at the very end of the month, so hopefully you stick around and enjoy that. And then we'll be back to 2 videos a week in October, so you have all of that to enjoy. The creative juices are flowing. I think it was really good for me to take this month off, and I have a lot of ideas already, so I'm really excited to come back full force in October and have a good refreshing brain. So yeah, hope your September is going amazing. This is my July and August wrap up. I do really hope you enjoyed it. Please do give it a like if you did like it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.